Hi, my name is Teri Trendler, and I'm the treasurer of Throop UU Church in Pasadena, California. This is the second episode of Teri's Throop Tours. In the first episode, we ended with George Throop's memorial light up at the top of the balcony. So we're going to start from this spot at the pulpit and take you in a lesser known area of the church by going really behind the scenes. Hang on. Coming down from the chancel, and I don't know why. Frances, tell me. I always think of this as Frances's rocking chair. You know, she doesn't have to sit in it. And as we come around, we have a collection, the old sound equipment box, and a series of drums, along with Chris Maldonado's piano, our music directors. And I actually saw some notes left over from a murder mystery that was starring Frances back in October here at Throop. So where I wanted you to look now, if you remember, if you heard the first episode, there was a door on the north side of the sanctuary, just beyond all the stained glass. So here's the westernmost stained glass window, because Cynthia likes them. There's also a door on the end of the southern half of the sanctuary. I'm going to take you back there this time. So I'm not sure what the proper name would be, but I call this area the Vestry. Both the pastor and the choir used to get dressed back here. So on the south side, there's a water closet, no longer functional. And on the right-hand side, there's a little wash basin. And as I go past, I'm going to turn off the light so I don't forget. So this is the area of the vestry, and we're facing west. There's some really big trees outside, so you see the mottled light. We have the automated watering system and the old hymnal board for putting the numbers up. This door faces out into the garden, and there are lots of beautiful things in bloom right now. Some sweet peas, I think, and our pomegranate tree, other fruit trees. But this is an inside tour today. So if the choir got their robes on, they might look in the mirror and see if they were beautiful. All of the storage cabinets here are now used for altar decorations, some lights and candles for sure. And this is the cabinet which used to probably house the choir's robes. We now put in a bunch of altar cloths. You can see the old choir robe assignments. I'm looking, Zena Kinghill, not living in the area, but certainly this isn't all that old. So I'll have to ask her about using the choir robe room. All the fun. Oh, and one of Tara's jackets. I think, Pastor, you've forgotten something. So in addition to having the hymn boards out front, the numbers for putting up the hymns for numbers in the order of service are back here. And I think Gene Prince and Tara and Sindaband do that for us now. But so here I am facing north. Oh no, yeah, I am. There's a hallway we'll come back to on the left. The door in the center is the door back to the chancel where the organ, probably player, came through. So there's the organ, and there's the altar from the south point of view. Back to our pulpit and George's window. But one of the first doors that I was really curious about, I'm curious about everything, was this locked door between the choir robes. And it's got a really narrow staircase. I'm going to go up for you. I flipped the lights on already, but you can see the well-worn treads of these stairs. And I call this little area the nest. But I heard, at least one rumor, that the choir, after practice and before they had to come out to sing, would go up here for coffee and donuts. And so it's a very pretty little room. Tiny little room with these south-facing windows here across Del Mar, our neighboring properties. A couple of pieces of equipment or furniture have been brought up here. And there's one of the the colored glass windows that faces west into the setting sun, except for that tree that's kind of growing right over it. Might be trimmed sometime too. And a few little leftovers. So I'll have to ask Zena if she ever came up here for coffee or donuts. I think there used to be at least an urn. And the narrowness of the stairs is totally not ADA compliant, but I think we made it. Pretty little mess. Maybe the music director, maybe it was built for him to have a place to hang out before and after. So the last area I want to show you today has a little history to it. So there's this narrow hallway or alley right behind the chancel, and it's 2 stories easily. The shelves on the left now hold some equipment, some music equipment, sound equipment. It looks like a dead flatbed scanner, but they used to be covered with all of the music director's papers. So songbooks, the hymnals, probably paper music for the organs. Got a couple of dead drums, drum heads that have rips or no skin on them. And up here above the top shelf, we've got some windows facing west with plain glass, and a couple more with colored glass. And over our music kind of sound equipment, there's a little access point probably to the organ pipes, I'm guessing. I may have been told that. So we use this tiny closet. This is behind the curtains from episode 1. This is where the sound equipment is that runs all the stuff, and the PA switches. But there's something I hadn't noticed before. This shelf was probably for the hymnal books and choir stuff, but it's actually, it doesn't open today. It's hinges. I'm very curious if any of the troopers out there know what used to be stored down behind the chancel wall. And the last little piece of trivia is kind of something sad. There was a fire. So I'm aiming down at the floor, and you might notice there's 2 sets of hasps for padlocks, one to the north, one to the south, and a ring, because there's a crawl space underneath that is accessible from outside. And apparently there have been homeless folks who learned how to access the church. So back in 2007, a fire broke out, was lit back here, causing a whole lot of smoke damage to the church. And fortunately, the hall, Troop Hall, which you'll see in a future episode, was being used by a 12 Steps group, and they smelt the smoke. Therefore, the fire department was able to come quickly enough to put things out. There's some sconces on the wall. I finally just found the switch to turn those on, which is interesting. And I think it was smoke damage that caused some roof wood or slats to be taken down. And so you can see that they never got put back up. Looking straight above the chancel, there is wood overlying the kind of, I think it's a silver insulating. So it was Thanksgiving 2007 when that fire was. So some of you may have still been part of Troop at that time. I certainly wasn't here yet. And I will go out the sanctuary next time through the double doors, try to find a little bit more history to tell you, and hopefully see you here for coffee hour in Troop Hall soon. Bye-bye.